grow up with the NES, PlayStation, Star Wars, cartoons, and 80s TV? Do you like to think who would win in a fight between Batman and the Master Chief? Comics, games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. Games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of This Week in Geek. This Week in Geek.
Well, hello, and welcome out to another show. This is a shorter review show. Again, sort of catching up on some of the stuff that wasn't able to make it into the main show. This is also, as of this recording, the Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl, Olympics, other recordings and stuff that we're working on that we have to get through. So just wanted to have a little bit of time set aside just to talk about a few things here. As we're going to be busy covering a lot of other stuff in the interim. Yes, Alex, the producer here, flying solo. Don't have any reviews in this particular episode from Birdman, as his stuff is sort of kept into the main shows right now. But I wanted to sort of just do like in the intro here, before I get into like our main few reviews that we've got here, a couple of like gaming, updates, first impressions, that sort of stuff, where a longer form review might be coming in the future if time permits. But as it stands right now, I have been playing a few indie titles as well as a few, maybe larger stuff that I can just sort of mention briefly. One is I've been playing Away From Home. I was sent a review copy to play on PC. This is a indie RPG. The best way to describe it is a little bit of that quirk that you see from like an Earthbound or I guess like an Undertale sort of feel, but it's got a cute, cartoony, hand-drawn art style that's like almost reminiscent of, I don't know, like Maniac Mansion, something like that. But yeah, the battles are interesting. It's a third-person perspective, rhythm-based. So that's to sort of step out and be a little more unique than what I've played before. Plays pretty well. Will play on pretty much anything. Like it requires like an i3, third gen to work with 2 gigs of RAM, a GT 430 video card, 2 gigs of storage. It runs basically on a potato. That's no issues to anybody. Well made. I'm having fun with it. Maybe we'll do a full review later on, but I'm pretty far in, and I do think it's worth your time to check out if you're a fan of indie JRPGs. And similarly, in that same vein, I've also been playing Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass. Now this, it's available on all different platforms. It's available on PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, 4 and 5. Pretty much every platform, you're going to have the exact same experience. It's a full-length JRPG, turn-based combat with some modern updates and quality of life updates to that style that you'll probably enjoy. Just the flow is good. There is a pretty big emphasis on exploration as you're playing through it. There are transformations that you can level up throughout it. The story... The best way to describe it is it's a story meant for like mature, like for adults, but it's done through like the perspective of the kid and from like a child's view. It's also got a pretty good, interesting design. Again, sort of like an Earthbound-y style. That's sort of all the rage right now. Hand-drawn, much more in the Earthbound style, but also you'll have sometimes weird like cutscenes and perspectives and effects and that added to it. It's actually quite fun. Again, available pretty much on every platform. Sent a review copy from the publisher Penguin Pop Games. worth checking out. We'll put a link in the description for you. So those are the like indie titles I've been playing, as I've also been sort of juggling with larger releases. I've also been playing Dynasty Warriors Origins, Visions of Four Heroes, which is a DLC expansion that is available for the base game. I'm playing that on PS5, which is where I reviewed the original version of the game. Also want to mention that I've been playing the Switch 2 version of this game that we were sent a review code for as well. Not doing a full-fledged review of that because, again, we covered the main base game before, and I can just say this, that it plays great. It's performing, looks good. It's fun to play that portably, whereas previously I was sort of stuck playing it on my PS5. And this expansion adds a brand new scenario. There is a fair amount of gameplay involved with it. There's a 1 versus 1,000 action. It has a sort of an evolved combat system to it. Very well put together, good expansion. Might fly under the radar for some people, but I do think it's worth playing, especially if you're getting the game for the first time. It's a good, pick it up, have it as a bit of a bundle. Doesn't really matter what platform you play it on, you're going to have pretty much a good time. I have been thoroughly enjoying my time with it, so I'm happy with that way. And I'm trying to think, is there any other major games that I've been playing that I want to mention here at the beginning? Yes, ports. And again, not getting a full-fledged review, just sort of my impressions on it, because I previously reviewed a previous version. Go back into our show history if you're interested, but know that it is a solid, great release. Our friends over at Marvelous USA sent a review copy of Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. This is the version that's coming out on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I played the PS5 version. I had previously reviewed it on other platforms, which very happy with it. If you're interested, you can go back. Just know that the port plays great. Actually, might even play better than how I played it previously. And it's available basically now at this point on every platform you'd want to be able to play it on. And you're going to have a good time on everything. So that's all I really have to say on that, because good port is good port of good fun game. And I mean, I'd love to be able to articulate more other than just that I've done that previously with the previous release. If I would have much more to say if, this port and other ports that we've been talking about in this here had been poor. But no, this is a solid release. Well worth it. I'll put the link in the description. If you have any questions or feedback, obviously you can contact me at alex@thisweekingeek.net or feedback@thisweekingeek or on our socials if you want to know more. I could potentially go into more in depth. We might end up doing some programming later on in the year that is like maybe a roundup of like the ports that happened this year that are like the best ports or what ones to avoid, that sort of thing. But as it stands, this and previously I talked about Dynasty Warriors. Both of these are pretty solid, and you don't really have to worry about what platform you play them on. You're going to have a good time. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else here? Yeah, that's probably going to do it for our little game preview part here. I should have some other reviews, and there's probably some movies because I've had a bunch come in. But yeah, just a bit of an indie roundup and a bit of a port roundup to talk about here at the beginning of the show. So I'm going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back with some of the reviews that I have for other properties right here at ThisWeekInGeek.net. Frightmare, another Troma release that we've got for review here in their Traumatic Special Edition Blu-ray. Yes, we've talked about some of the Troma's back catalog getting brand new transfers put on Blu-ray, which is pretty fancy, and as with the previous ones, these were sent to us for review. They are region-free. ABC works in any player out there. But obviously, if you're in another territory, it is going to be NTSC video, or ATSC, so 23, 24 frames per second. Pretty much every TV does that. If you're in a region that does like 25 and 50 hertz as your TV, should play fine. It is a region-free player, and some of the stuff is at 30 FPS. I checked. You might occasionally possibly have an issue in those regions with some of the archival stuff that's included that is at 30, but anything that's at the regular frame rate, you'll have no trouble. What is this? Well, Frightmare. Following the death of legendary horror actor Konrad Radzoff, played by Freddie Main from The Howling 2 and Conan the Destroyer, a group of overzealous drama students steal his corpse from his crypt and take it to a haunted house where his finest films were made. As the night goes on, the students learn the true meaning of terror as Conrad's vengeful spirit takes them out one by one. Standard, awesome 80s, lower to mid-budget horror slasher feel to it. Well produced overall from 1981. It is in its original aspect ratio. Probably the best it's ever looked. I can say that pretty confidently. I have seen this once before on... Did I see it on DVD or VHS? I think one of the other, I rented it like 20 some odd years ago, 25 years ago or more. It has an introduction by Lloyd Kaufman and Debbie Rochon, classic one that they did back in the day. Multiple different commentaries, all worth a listen. Artwork gallery, cast and crew interviews, coming distractions. That includes stuff like Toxic Avenger. I think that they usually include like a Sergeant Kabuki Man and like a Shakespeare Shitstorm, something like that. They usually have one of the newest releases that Lloyd did, and then they'll have like the classics involved. Might have been a couple others on here as well, but pretty standard stuff. If you know Troma releases, you know what you're getting in for. It is a solid release, one of the better ones from their catalog. Happy to see it, getting an HD release in a wide release. Definitely worth it. If you're not a fan of Troma stuff, it's not as out there as like the Troma goofy stuff. This is more of a traditional horror, so you might be a little more interested if that's the route you want to take. But it's a solid release, and I do pretty highly recommend it. It's one of the unsung classics of the 80s. Luther the Geek. What is Luther the Geek? Well, it's a Troma movie that is being put on Blu-ray for what I believe is the first time, or definitely the newest first time. That's right, Alex, the producer here. I was sent a review copy of Luther the Geek. This is the Traumatic Special Edition from Troma. This is one of their catalog titles from the 80s. They're slowly putting them out, either re-releasing or getting remastered editions put out, where they try to collect as much of the original special features they produced for the old VHSs and DVDs, put it with new transfers on Blu-ray. As with most of these releases they put out, these are region-free, region ABC, so you can play it in any player, meaning it's a worldwide release. Basic plot is a psychotic killer is released. He's been in prison for like decades. He has razor-sharp metal dentures, and he terrorizes citizens of a small town, and takes a family hostage. It's gory 80s slasher in the style of Troma. For those that know, geek does not mean like This Week in Geek, like us. Geek is more like in the term of like a freak show, carnival, the geek, think like the Gimp, the Geek, that sort of thing. It has introductions from both Lloyd Kaufman and Luther the Geek director Carlton Albright. There are some newly produced interviews on this that were for like recently, or at least in the last 10-15 years. Director's commentary, cast interviews, there's Troma Freak Show, coming distractions, the standard stuff like trailers for Kabuki Man, Troma's most recent releases, Toxic Avenger, which I think is in every single release that they put out. The movie's 80 minutes long. It's got English subtitles. It is probably the best this film's ever looked. Pretty solid release overall. I had a good time with it. I do think it's not going to be for everybody, as with Troma stuff, but I do think it's one of the more solid releases they've done. The acting's pretty good for that time period and for that budget of film. The director had a handle on what would look good even on a low budget, so there was real thought and love put into the production of this movie, which you can't always say for more modern low budget slashers. This evokes the period it's in, just the feel of that good, like, pick up a VHS from the rental store, grab a bag of Doritos and some Mountain Dew on the weekend and watch a couple movies. That's the feel you get from this. Well worth it. If you're a fan of Troma, worth picking up. If you're a fan of horror and slashers altogether, it's still worth it. One of the better releases in the Troma catalog that isn't directed by Lloyd Kaufman himself. Alex, the producer here, with just a quickie review of Vampire Zombies from Space. I'll note that this is probably getting a longer form, more critical, and likely, knowing how harsh criticism they can be, a more critical review from Aaron and Darlene over at Earth vs. Soup. They might do a special episode on that, so look for that in the next few weeks. But my initial take on this, I've watched this, and it's not going to be for everybody, I'll tell you that. It's a Canadian film done to sort of be in the style of old movies from back in the day. What pulled me in when I got a chance to check out the, copy was sent to me for review, was that Lloyd Kaufman appears in it, that was invited. And, no matter how low budget or cringe sometimes the production can be, if Uncle Lloyd's in it, I'm usually okay with it. I know it's my bias, but I'll get that out of the way. But the basic plot here is in 1957, a quiet town is turned upside down when Dracula returns with a new plan to take over the world by raising an army of vampire zombies from outer space. As the undead spread throughout the streets, a group of unlikely heroes must band together to stop the invasion before it's too late. Tons of gore, classic special effects, and comedy. I put in quotes, comedy. There's audio commentary, there's some deleted scenes, promotional clips, slideshow trailers, interviews with some of the stars, including a quick one with Uncle Lloyd as to how he got involved in it. Always got to rep Canada, talk about it. It is shot okay. Again, a lot of cringe in it, a lot of fun. This is one you have to have a few drinks, and I'm pretty sure that is what Aaron's consensus will be, is that he needs a few drinks to watch this. But again, listen for that longer form, more in-depth critical review on Earth vs. Soup coming later on. But as it stands, if you're a fan of Troma type stuff, and especially if you're in Canada here like us, you want to support some local people making it, as well as having Uncle Lloyd in it, it's worth checking out. If you're not into this style of campy, over-the-top Troma-esque style of movie, then I would say avoid. Or rent or watch online and streaming. But if you're like me and you like the camp, you like the cheese, you like the cringe, you like the retro throwback and the Troma-esque style of renegade indie filmmaking, then it's probably worth picking up. So I'll put a link in the description for it. That's just my initial thoughts on it. Again, much more in depth. We're probably going to come from our friends over at the Earth vs. Soup podcast. Alex, the producer here, with a roundup of sorts. We're going to catch up on the last batch of movies that were sent during or just at the end of our Christmas and winter hiatus break. And that should catch us up so that everything is up to current releases of stuff that's coming out. It's going to be a mishmash of things that I'm going to briefly go over, whether or not I recommend. In most cases, probably, because they tend to send us pretty good stuff. But the first one here is from the Criterion Collection. They sent over John Cassavetes' A Woman Under the Influence. This is a Blu-ray special edition. I received this a little while ago, and this is a movie from 1974. It's in color, a little over 2 hours long. It's mono, as most pictures were from back then. But this is it's about a housewife who just has overall a breakdown, and it's actually just very well put together. So Gina Rollins and Peter Falk are in this. I don't want to spoil the plot, but it's actually a really good character piece from that era. The digital restoration has been pretty well handled. There are conversations included, like special features from the actors discussing each other, audio commentaries, trailer, stills gallery, English subtitles, and an essay. Nothing crazy when it comes to features that are included, but overall solid release. Good movie that I don't think has had a lot of buzz around it when it comes to home video over the years. So worth watching. Pretty much any of the John Cassavetes movies are good, but this is one of the better ones that I've seen, at least. Our friends over at Neon sent Osgood Perkins's Keeper, which is It's intense. This is a 4K release. Bonus features, there's an audio commentary, a teaser trailer. There's nothing much beyond that. The commentary was worth a listen. Some decent enough insights, but it is a pretty intense thriller horror that not for the faint of heart is probably the best way to describe it. It is a hard R in itself. That picture quality, great. Audio quality, good and atmospheric. Would have wished for more special features, but pretty solid release overall. Next one here we have to talk about is Roofman. We were sent this for review. Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst. This movie, I wanted to see it in theaters, didn't get a chance to. So now I finally got to see it in 4K. It's 4K, Blu-ray, digital copy as well. This is, I think, if my memory serves, based on a sort of a true news story about a guy that hung out inside of the rafters of a building and at a store and lived there for a while. Rom-com, a little bit of a dark comedy, funny, well put together, and I'd say worth it. Paramount put this out as far as special features are concerned. There's some deleted and alternate scenes. Nothing crazy was cut, but I could see why some of it was cut, but it's still funny and worth watching. Based on the actual events and terrible decisions thereof. It says right on the back. Chasing Ghosts, director's method. A bit of a fluff piece, but still somewhat entertaining. And a few other special features that are included that are, again, a little bit more like fluff pieces, but nothing major. Afterburn. This is a Dave Bautista, Olga Kurylenko, and Samuel L. Jackson movie. Had no idea that this existed. This was good? Question mark. It says here's the basic plot. I'll read it to you right from the back of the box. After a massive solar flare destroys the Earth's eastern hemisphere, an emboldened treasure hunter for hire hires adventurers in Europe to uncover the coveted Mona Lisa, only to learn that the world needs a hero more than it needs painting. It is odd. It feels like it's a direct-to-video movie right out of the 90s. If you're not a huge fan of Bautista or other people involved, it's probably not worth buying. It's more of a rental. Maybe watch the streaming copy, and if you like it. But if you're a fan of them, it's a solid enough release, and it's worth it for that. In a similar vein, there is Joel Kinnaman's Ice Fall. Now, this, same sort of thing, in the quality. A young indigenous game warden arrests a notorious poacher only to learn he knows the location of a plane full of cash that crashed in the frozen lake. When criminals and corrupt cops close in, the unlikely pair must fight to survive and escape across the melting ice. Similar thing here when it comes to quality. A little bit bigger budget, but again, pretty bare bones release. It has surround sound uncompressed in the original aspect ratio, barely anything else on the disc. If you're a big Kinnaman fan, or if you're a fan of the style of thriller action, worth picking up. Otherwise, probably worth a rental. I am happy that they're still releasing them physically. It's just I would have expected and hoped for a little more there. Then we also have Shelby Oaks. This is a Chris Druckmann film. This one has a little more bonus features, but basic plot here. Film crew uncovers disturbing lead in a woman's obsessive search, finding her sister, which steers into a terrifying mystery at the hands of an unknown evil. Low budget, ultra low budget, interesting. There is the making of Shelby Oaks. There's 6 episodes of that, 4 episodes of Paranormal Paranoids. For an indie release, it's entertaining. Not for everybody, for sure. I would say I wouldn't keep it in my collection, but if you're into these sorts of films, there are much worse ones out there, believe me. So it's entertaining enough. I'm actually going to bring it over to my mom's to see what she thinks, because she likes these kind of movies more than I do usually, and it's worth checking out. Other releases that we received for review is Thackham Hall. This is a spoof comedy, British one, released by Bleecker Street. Again, pretty bare bones when it comes to the releases, but it's a spoof of like Downton Abbey and Airplane, Monty Python. It hits sometimes some of the jokes are a bit of a miss. Performances are the right kind of lunacy. Worth a watch for sure. I'm not sure necessarily about owning it. Again, if you're fans of that style of movie, pick it up. Otherwise, might be a rental. And that's pretty much it for the releases like this that we've got to talk about. Trying to think, there might be more coming, but those are the ones that came during our break that I didn't get a chance to do full reviews of in the main show, and that may or may not be up everybody's alley in our audience. But definitely, I think they're all worth watching. It's just not everyone is going to be worth, I would say, owning in every single instance for every single person. But worth watching. I'll put links to the to where you can pick up each one if you're interested in purchasing in the description below. And that's going to do it for, I guess, our final roundup of our holiday break. And we're going to get back to doing major releases on every week on our regular show with reviews. So hopefully something was interesting there. And I'm going to send it off to either myself or Birdman or whoever else is going to be on this review show or main show.
Those magnificent bastards! Color me kooky, but something very odd is going on around here.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
And that's going to do it for the show this week or month, or however long it is we do these review shows in between them. But yeah, it's been quite busy as we start out the year here at ThisWeekInGeek.net. As far as other program we have coming, depending on when this comes out, this will be... We're going to have new Earth versus Soup. I'm actually working on the next several weeks worth of that. We have the new spell book show that Birdman is doing that's going to be on CFRU radio every Wednesday at noon, and then syndicated with us in the evening of that same day, so that it gives the radio station time to have its show played a little bit before we get it. So that's going to be our weekly show for the next little bit, a new one. We have new episodes of Future Imperfect and of the Prototype and of Loose Cannon coming sporadically throughout the month, probably 1 or 2 shows per month of each. And Birdman has a bunch of interviews I believe he's doing over the next little bit, so it's going to be quite a busy time, plus our regular show every Monday. I'm just going to say fingers crossed pretty much every Monday, as long as we're all healthy and happy and able to do it, as well as some review shows like this in between. So we're keeping quite busy for 2026. But yeah, as far as this week goes, Earth versus Soup might have one more show coming out on top of the Wednesday show. So show on Wednesday, show on Thursday, maybe a show on the weekend, and then we're back into the regular loop again. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully with this short little review show, there's a couple items or maybe something you might have been interested in that you want to check out and give it a go. But yeah, that's going to do it here for us here at This Week in Geek. We'll be back with something else later on in the week.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at ThisWeekInGeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@ThisWeekInGeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember, lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.